Hey everybody, this is DJ here, and today this is the 50th and final episode of the Minecraft City. Yes, man, we had such a big journey, and this was widely regarded as the most successful series I've ever had on the channel. And with the first ever episode being the second most watched video, it is widely regarded as such an amazing trend and a topic so worldwide that everyone would love to see in Minecraft is to build a city. And when I first began the thought of it, it was amazing. I really did enjoy it, and we came so far even from today. So I want to go and do a big city tour. I'm going to be showing you all the builds from episode 1 towards to episode 49. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting, so let's just get started. So this is where I all started. The intersection, where it was first constructed and expanded in all 4 directions across the whole city. I do find this place to be the most important area, and I will still remember the very first episode when the city ever got constructed. The next build I began on constructing is stores. These stores are fairly simple to look at in the suburbs and are widely regarded as like store and another store connected all into one building. However, they all remain separate, and this was the first ever building I ever built. The next build is the movie theater. The movie theater is a really well constructed building with many rooms filled with lots of big screens. There's also a fully interior hallway with many bathrooms, as well as a very much more interactive building than most of my other buildings I've worked on in the past. And still, I would consider the theater as one of the most greatest successful buildings I ever built. Afterwards, I began on expanding the road from the intersection to a newer place where I had the chance to build a train station. I chose to build the train station in a more classical variation compared to the most modern ways how we see today. So I want to go and make the train station look very unique and somewhat old. And this also began the construction of the railway system in the city, including the first ever intersection with the railway and the first ever road. Returning back to the theater, I decided to go next door and build a mall. The complexity of building malls is somewhat a challenge in our own world, but in Minecraft, sometimes there's just more angles to view this. So I had to go more on the interior than exterior on this one. And I think I did a really good job on building the walkways from top and to bottom throughout the interior. Just across the street is Walmart and Dick's Sporting Goods. I began on constructing these 2 great stores into one building, which I do think is a much more shorter and easier way of building in the city. I did not build the interior during the episode, but just recently I did work on an interior with both of the stores fully connected with easier access to the restrooms. Afterwards, I began expanding the road to another area into the city, and where I decided to go and build a Domino's pizzeria and a fire station. The fire station does not really have an interior, but Domino's does and do have an interior with good seating and a really good back kitchen as well. On the same road, I began a new project that took nearly 4 episodes long, and that was the basketball stadium. The basketball stadium is filled with a huge interior as well as a very iconic look towards the exterior. There is locker rooms, a full basketball court, and many floors to go through, including some bathrooms and some concessions inside. Another long project I've started constructing is a private airport. Based on the location of the city, private airport was the perfect way to go through instead of an international airport. This airport took nearly 4 episodes long and is widely regarded as one of my biggest builds in the city. So there is so much to look at, even from the simple hangars to the actual terminal with the great tower and runways and taxiways. And this building took a long time to work on. After building the airport, everything has gone a little more slower to constructing the city, so I decided to go and build a plaza. This plaza is filled with many things such as stores to a couple of restaurants, including an arcade. Some very popular places to look at is like the Lego store and is Anti-A's just directly around the corner. There's also the big arcade that is filled with many games, including a very small library. Afterwards, I returned back where Domino's is and I began building a store directly close by. The Nike store is a very great spot with more aesthetic looks from the interior, and this is when I began starting to use item frames, including the stands that holds up clothes, armor, and all that stuff. And just next door, I began on building a Starbucks with a working drive-thru. Starbucks does have an interior, which makes it much more aesthetic to go inside and start ordering drinks, and it is a very much more popular place where a lot of people go, including in the real world. So I wanted to go include this into the Minecraft city. Just across the street from those two stores, I began on creating the City Hall. The City Hall is the #1 most biggest project in the city, and it is filled with so many rooms from the simple interiors, including the outside, where the Technoblade Memorial is. The project took nearly 4 episodes long, and I'd say is one of my most longest projects I've ever worked on the city. I then returned back to the old road and began on creating one of the most greatest and iconic furniture stores ever in the world, and that is known as Ikea. Ikea looks really great from the outside, but the interior is what it counts. I began on building rooms with many decorations and a lot of other things along every single hallway, even towards the big storage room, including the end where the cash registers are. Back to the road where the City Hall is, I began working on the bowling alley. The bowling alley is very aesthetic to look at from the outside, but as well as the inside. The inside does function well to looking as a bowling alley, including with many of the legs, and some good seating around the place. Also, I really do think that I integrated the most amount of lighting in this building compared to any other place in this city. After focusing on one point in the city, I began on going to a new place to have a change of scenery. And that is when I began construction on the neighborhood. I simply built a whole blueprint of where all the houses would be, including where the roads are. And in the end, episode by episode, I began on building houses and houses. And eventually, it started to take form after I began on building the trees, including a new area just directly behind the neighborhood. But that will be talked about later. At this point, the city was growing so big, I had to go and build something much more expandable towards the city, and that is a train system. The railway system has been expanding throughout every single direction, from the very first crossroad towards like where the forest is, just behind the Ikea, and it made its way all the way towards where I'm starting to build the next train station. This train station had the more purpose of looking more into a modern style compared to what you can see today. So from the first train station that I decided to go and build, that was around more classical variant, but this one decided to look a bit more modern, a bit more bigger, holding at least 3 railroad lines, which the commercial trains, and including freight trains, can actually pass by easily across this entire big building. I returned back to the neighborhood to go and build more residential houses until I really got the idea that I want to go and build another form of residency in this city. So one idea is building a hotel. This hotel took at least 3 episodes to work on because there was a lot of planning, meaning that there was a lot of rooms to be built. And this is 3 floors tall, so there was a lot more rooms and also a lot of hallways. And I'd say the biggest challenge to building something that has a lot of floors is the elevators and the stairs. A new project that I want to get started on would take at least 4 episodes long, so it was maybe the same duration as the airport and many others, but this one was a very fun one to work on, and that was the golf course. This golf course is scattered in many different builds, all scattered even just from the simple golf clubhouse to the mini golf area, including the big golf course, which is filled with at least 5 holes. I know I would have built like more, but it would take me even longer, so I didn't want to go and make the entire project too long. After building a very big project into the city, I want to go and build something a bit more smaller, just to go and take some time off from the very busy stuff. So I decided to go and build a U-Haul. This U-Haul facility is filled with actual storage facilities, including a full interior as well. It has a storage right in the back, and people can easily go inside and transport boxes towards wherever they want to go. So the recent builds that I've mentioned were builds kind of far away from the town hall, so I decided to go and return back to that, expand some roads, and decide to work on a new store. And this would be a very most iconic store, which is Target. Target is a very common store. It's fully furnished from the inside, and it does have a back room as well. Just across the street from Target is the hospital. This creation took at least 2 episodes long because the exterior walls and the outside looks had a lot of complex looks and design, as well as having the need to go and build an interior as well. And everything turned out really good in the end. Just down the street from the town hall is the police station. Of course, the city does need its safety, and we need some police officers around the place. So why not a police station would fit well to go and keep the city safe, as well as whoever the mayor or president in the town hall is safe. Returning back to the road where the hospital is, I began on constructing a Toys R Us. This was suggested by one comment in a recent video, and I thought this would be a great idea. Toys R Us was a very iconic store for a lot of kids in the early 2000s, and this will kind of bring back some great nostalgia moments, and I really hope that this building would actually make the city look more fun and playful. Now it is the 49th episode. I began on constructing the highway. This highway will bring a huge expansion to the city and furthermore episodes coming into the future, but that'll be on hold for a bit. But still, this highway actually took a very long time, working on all the roads, the bridges, including the actual exit and the entrance. There's a lot to go and work on around this highway here, and I feel like this was a big upgrade to the city. And now, it is the 50th episode, where we are talking about the city tour. So I just want to go and say thank you very much for watching all these episodes. It has been a big journey, and I appreciate a lot of the support. This was my most successful series on the channel, and I cannot say so much, just a big thank you. So I just want to say it again, thank you. So anyways, I'm just going to go and show you all the builds that I've worked on off camera that I have not really shown you guys, so you're free to go and watch this stuff. Enjoy the music. And lastly, you can also go and download the world. Yep, it's all freely downloaded, so it's in the description. Easily click the link and you'll get it easily for free. And one final thing is you can also share your builds onto the city towards your friends, but also to me. So my Discord account is in the description, so if you want to go and share some screenshots, I would love to go and see them. And I just want to say thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.